So today I wanted to show you a little around what we're providing in Business Objects 4.0. What we're showing here is Crystal Reports, and this is an addition that we specifically created to leverage the full functionality of the BI platform. So for those of you that don't know, Crystal Reports is a tool that we provide that allows you to create highly formatted, pixel perfect, professional looking interactive reports that you can then share amongst your users within the company and also your external customers as well. So what I want to do now is show you some of the new functionality that we provided in the 4.0 release. So I'll go through a workflow of where we go about creating a report, and I'll show you some of the new innovations that we have. So the first thing I'll do is create a blank report, and one of the first steps I need to do is log into the platform so that I can access my data sources. So now I'm presented with a list of data sources, and these are the new semantic layer that we've provided in 4.0, and now I've picked a universe, and I will use that as a starting point for my report. The next thing I'll see is the query panel, and the query panel is now a shared component across all our tools. So this is the way that all client tools in the platform will access the semantic layer. So it provides a nice, seamless, and consistent experience across all our tools. So I'll go ahead and select some fields that I want to display on my report, and I'll even put in some criteria information as well. Okay. And then it goes and queries the database and returns back the report. So the interesting to note there is that by leveraging the universes, I as a report author don't actually have to understand how the data is really physically stored in the database. I don't need to know the tables that's being utilized, the actual physical field names, nor do I need to know how to join across those tables as well. All that's been completely abstracted from me by utilizing the universe. And thus, the universe provides the single version of the truth across all client tools and really helps in the report development process by making the report author focus on the business problem and not have to worry about the technical design of the database. So as you notice, this is a little bit different than our traditional Crystal Reports interface. We have a tabbed toolbar across the top and also across the side, and it's got a different layout. So two of the things that we tried to do in the 4.0 release from a user experience perspective is, number one, we've tried to harmonize the user experience across all the client tools. So making sure things like the icons that we use, the names, the terminology, the color schemes, and the workflows where they make sense are consistent across all the client tools in the suite. And that's really reducing the training required for users that are going between different tools. And at the same time, for the Crystal Reports team specifically, we spent a lot of time on user experience, studying how users today are creating reports, and we wanted to make that process as seamless and productive as possible. So this release is really also about how do we improve the usability of the product, make it easier to create complex looking reports. So for example, one of the largest innovation features is something that we call smart guidelines. That's where if I click on a field, I have the ability to really easily manipulate that field in relation to other ones. So I can take this field that I've selected and move it, say, right to the beginning, and it'll automatically just move it for you and take care of all the relative sizing and positioning relative to the other fields. So I can also do that for insert operations and also deletes as well. So for example, if I wanted to delete a particular column, I can just simply highlight delete, and it deletes that column but doesn't leave a white space. It automatically shrinks everything over from either side to properly preserve the layout that I want. So Innovations like that really make the tool really powerful now. So not only do I still preserve the pixel perfect formatting that really allows the professional report author to present a view that they exactly want, but now I have the ability to to create that report rather easily by having innovations like such as this. So I have the full ability to do pixel perfect formatting, but still increase the usability to make that process easier. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is show how easy it is to insert a chart in the tool now. I'm going to insert a bar chart, and I'm going to put it on the top of the report. I'm going to do last year's sales as data, so I can easily just drag and drop onto the chart this information. I don't have to go through any complex dialogues or wizard workflow. It's really drag and drop. So I want to see like last year's sales, and then I also want that for organized by customer name, and maybe I just want to see the top 5. So I will need to format that so that I see only the top 5. And now just in a simple a few easy clicks, I can easily see what my top 5 customers are for sales. So here I've demonstrated how the new interface is now consistent across the suite. We've harmonized it, and then also in terms of the usability as well. So the next part of innovation I want to show is around our other marquee feature, which is multilingual reports. So once we've created the report, we can now kind of hand that report off to our translation team to do the translation of that content. So what they can use is this translation manager tool and basically suck in that report and do all the translations of all the textual elements that compose of the metadata in the report. So I'll log in here. And then I'll navigate to a report that I've previously created and done the translations for to show you how it looks like in this tool. So the process would be to basically import the strings that I want to translate, and I'll basically pick the report. So I have this multilingual report that I've been working on. So you can see Translation Manager has gone through and pulled out all the textual strings that compose of elements in the report. And then it shows the original content language. And then also, in this case, I've added 3 other locales that I wanted to localize the report into: French, Chinese, and German. And so, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and do a localization, so for example, multilingual report description hasn't been fully localized, I can just kind of double-click and type in the translation. So there's that workflow, but there's also a different workflow for doing the translation as well. If I wanted to outsource this work to a third-party translation house or maybe some translation memory tool, I can do that through this XML format called XLIF. So what I could do is export out this content, and then the translation house or the third-party tool would do the translations, send me back to XLIF format, which I can then import back in, and then everything would be automatically translated. So once that report is done, I'll show you what it looks like to the end user. So here I am in the BI Launchpad, and I want to take a look at the report that I just translated. So here it is, multilingual report. And when I look at it, you can see right now I'm using the default browser locale, which is English, so everything's kind of in English. But let's do some role-playing and assume that I am maybe, say, a Chinese user, and I want to see this report. So first I'll go into preferences and change my locale, so the system recognizes me as wanting to see the report in Chinese. So I've set that. I'll just kind of reload. Okay, so right away that you can see even the title has been localized. So when I go and view it, you'll see the meta information, the titles, the headings, and so forth has been localized for me. Now the data that I used was just from a universe that only contained English for the data, but with 4.0 I also have the ability to create multilingual universes, and if the data had been multilingual, then the data also would show up in Chinese as well. So this multilingual provides a lot of benefits for companies that are have a lot of satellite offices throughout the world, and they want to present the content in the local language, or perhaps it's an organization that sells has customers abroad, and they want to present it in their appropriate language, or it could be for independent software vendors that are creating software packages and also selling that software package to international customers, and they've also embedded reporting. And it really simplifies the process. Now you can just create a single report, localize it, and service multiple languages. I don't have to create a single report per language, which was what I would have to have done in the past.